Hey everybody. I just wanted to come on here and tell you about my profile picture. I don't know how many of you have seen a pretty purple rose that I put up for my friend Judy. I want to tell her story. This is not a pretty story. I'm going to give a bit of a trigger warning. It has to do with domestic violence. And I know there's a lot of people on my newsfeed who this would just hit way too close to home for. So don't even watch this if you have a really tender heart right now, because yeah, it's not a nice story, but it's one that needs to be told. So Judy was a friend that I met online in a mom's group. It's quite a big mom's group of Christian moms. Most of us have big families. I have one of the small families in the group with only 4 kids. Judy herself was a mom of 6 kids. She lived in Germany with her husband of 25 years, and she was the kindest, wisest woman who spent so much time praying for all of us and just investing in our lives. She knew when there was somebody who needed to be reached out to, she would reach out and support them and just uplift them in whatever way they needed to hear. Judy did not have an easy life. She had a very, very hard marriage, and she just maintained joy and just was not bitter. She was so beautiful. She was not bitter through all that she went through. And to me, I just found that very humbling, to watch her and how she would respond with grace to everything. She just made you want to be a better person by watching how much grace and joy she had. She never focused on her own problems. It was very rare that she would mention what was happening in her life. She was always more concerned about uplifting others. But I do remember one post where she mentioned she was just mourning the marriage that she would never have. She said, just mourning, the fellowship and the, yeah, you know what I mean. She was mourning that she would never have a loving marriage. She had come to the point of realizing that she was never going to have that. I just often, when I prayed for Judy, I would just pray for wisdom for her. She was somebody who was very committed to her marriage, and she always wanted to do what was right. And she, I know she had to work through what the best thing to do with her marriage was, if she should walk away or stay. So for 25 years she stayed, but just recently she decided to leave her husband, and our whole group was praying for her. She was really brave. She, when he was away on a business trip while they were in Germany, they lived in Germany, she packed up her 4 kids, and she had gotten everything in order, and she flew over to the United States where her oldest 2 children were and the rest of her family, and she was ready to start a new life, for the sake of her children and for the sake of doing what was best. I was so proud of her, just for the strength and bravery that it took for her to do that. And I was also just really excited for her and her kids, and what her life would have in store, just praying that she would have freedom after this big step. But what happened was, about 2 weeks later, her husband showed up at the door where she was living at her kid's place, and he was in the United States. So now she had to deal with him being there and his manipulation and emotional abuse. She didn't stay in the same house as him because that would not have been an emotionally safe place for her. He had never been a physically abusive man, but it was not emotionally safe. So she went and took her kids and stayed with her brother. And then a couple weeks later, her husband showed up at the door, and they had a bunch of discussion happening, and somehow, we don't know exactly the series of events, he ended up outside with her, and he killed her in an act of premeditated murder. He shot her. And this was really devastating for our group of ladies. Judy, for me, Judy was somebody that I looked up to very much, and we had some private message interaction, and it hit me pretty hard. But for a lot of people, Judy was an incredibly close friend. Like, yeah, you can't even describe, like, she just connected with people so well, and there were so many people that needed who Judy was. So this just hit our group like a ton of bricks, and just the weight that we felt for her family as well, having lost all her kids and her sisters and her parents and everybody. It was devastating. But at the same time, there was some comfort for us in knowing, a lot of comfort for us in knowing where Judy was. We knew that Judy is with Jesus, and it just gave me so much joy just to picture her in the arms of her Savior, finally just free from all the turmoil and abuse that she has had to deal with over the years. And it just really makes you ponder, like, what we're doing with our life right now. Like, are we wasting our days? Are we wasting our words and our energy? And just how Judy and who she was and everything she gave to this world was so valuable. And just made me not want to waste another moment. Not want to hang on to things that aren't important. And lots of discussion in the group about wanting to make sure that we're supporting anybody who is in an abusive situation. Like, a lot of people would not have seen this coming. Judy was even afraid to leave him because she was afraid that nobody would believe what she had been through. I think in some circles, Dan was able to keep, her husband, Dan, was able to keep just a pretty good image. And I think in the case of a lot of abusive, narcissistic, emotionally abusive, especially cases, the people on the outside have no idea what's going on inside the home. And it's just so important for us to be there to support people in these situations and to do what we can to keep them safe. So I feel like I'm kind of losing my words here. I don't even know where I'm going with this tonight. It's just a story that I wanted to tell, something that's been on my heart. I guess, yeah, the main thing is, what are we doing with our life? Where are we going when we die? Judy was not perfect. She is with Jesus because she was covered by his grace. She had forgiveness from her sins because she accepted the free gift that Jesus gave us when he died on the cross. And I feel like the timing for this to all happen right before Easter, it's just thought-provoking timing. And to picture Judy spending Easter in heaven with her Savior, free from all this pain, knowing far more than us what Easter is like. It's beautiful to know where she is. I guess, yeah, some other things I wanted to mention about this is just her funeral service was up on her page. I should put it in the links below this post. Another beautiful service. I have only got to watch some of it. I need to keep watching the rest. I only get to watch little bits and pieces of stuff at a time. If anybody wants to support Judy's family, I'm going to put a link up for people to support her children and the aunt and uncle that are taking care of the younger kids. Yeah, I guess, a message to anybody who is in a situation, that a marriage that is not safe, be it emotionally or physically, please reach out to somebody. Even if it's me, I don't know what to do for you, but I can connect you with somebody who does. And I can pray for you. And yeah, I just want you to know that you're not alone and that there are people out there who will believe what you're going through. And don't let fear stop you, because when you're willing to leave a situation like that, you are the bravest of women. And you need to do that for you, and you need to do that for your kids. So yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it at this before I keep rambling on. But I just wanted you to know the story of Judy and how precious she was to so many people.